Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Three Strangers podcast. I am your host, Ryan.
And I'm Bill.
And I'm Nick.
And if you ever wondered what we do before the start of a podcast, if you thought we probably talk about the movie, if we start to
Yeah.
game plan,
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about the difference between Dove soap and Dove chocolate and about
And we really
Pokemon
wanna know the
cards.
input. Yeah, and
Pokemon
Pokemon.
cards. Cards, we had some animals run into our, spaces. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this was a very productive one, I would say.
Really trying to really wanna know the commenters, the viewers and listeners' perspective on the fact that there are 2 companies named Dove. One's chocolate, one is soap, and apparently that's okay in this capitalistic world.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I don't get it.
I don't mean to get overly crazy here or spiral us back into this conversation, but you ever see those charts where it's what like companies own what other companies and like
Yeah.
how
Mm-hmm.
few true like big companies there are that kind of like control like a large like set of that thing. Um
Mm.
yeah, no, I mean that's a little scary. That's a little scary, right? We probably, don't want to make a blanket statement, but yeah, I feel like, that's probably not good. Okay, I actually will make a blanket statement. Yeah, that's probably not good, but hey, I mean, there's only so little we can do about it. We're kind of freedom fighters in that way.
We are freedom
We,
fighters.
you know
Yeah.
what?
Small business. Support small business.
Support small business, well, don't ask what we're drinking right now, but,
Yeah, to accept yeah, no,
actually, I'm
no.
gonna hide my, yeah. Mhm.
And I do
Um
want to say, because we talked about how the Dove soap has the bird and the Dove chocolate used to have the bird, but it doesn't. I ended up looking it up, and literally the only reason they changed was because they wanted to make it minimalistic. That was just the time. So oh, what if we
Oh.
did liquid chocolate in the piping?
This is a weird tangential bird thing that I think you guys can both appreciate. I don't want to distract us too much from what we're here to talk about today, but I go to trivia. I go to bar trivia a lot.
Mhm.
And there was a crazy picture around the other night where it was matching up the old school logos of NFL teams. Uh,
Oh.
and you
Oh.
might think it'd be pretty easy because it'd just be like an older cartoon version of their
Mhm,
mascot or whatever,
mhm.
but I gotta say some of them were really abstract, and some of them were really were kind of you had to go on vibes alone, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but the absolute most difficult one was trying to figure out which one was, the Seahawks logo, which one was the Ravens logo, and which
Uh,
one was the, fricking, Eagles
I was
logo.
gonna say the bird ones probably were really difficult, trying to
Yeah.
distinguish between all of them.
We were like, "Well, this one's facing forward and looks angry, so that's probably the Eagles?" No, 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 by the way, it was the Ravens. If you guys wanna see the pretty sick OG logo, by the way.
Mhm,
It makes Ravens look very cool, and they are cool, but it's something about that, imagery is really good.
mhm.
What are we
They told
here
Yeah,
to
me to talk
well,
talk
more look, we'll
I
talk more
got
intense
pivot
then.
for us. I got
Yes,
pivot
please
for us. Don't
pivot.
worry,
I'd love to see
Go
because
this.
pivot.
you talked about birds,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and in England, a lot of the times when they're referring to girls, they say birds. Look at the birds.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that,
Ah.
you talked about going to a bar. What other way can we say a bar? We're going to the pub. Which this movie's
Oh,
a pub crawl. We are talking, of course, of the third and final movie in the Cornetto Trilogy being The World's End.
very nice, Ryan. You really landed the plane.
Yeah.
I think,
Nice.
I
Got it.
ripped off the joystick and, Nick, took out one of the engines, but you did line the you did land the plane. You did land the plane. Yes, I was excited, for this movie as kind of the conclusion to the trilogy. Also the one, I have never seen for before this. Um, just what was the vibe going to be like, from talking about Hot Fuzz, right? How is it gonna be
Mhm.
different?
Mhm.
Um, but what about you guys? What was your, kind of thoughts leading into it?
This was one that I've seen before a long time ago, so it was really nice getting to rewatch it. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about it, but what I wanna kind of start with, uh, to get you guys thinking a little bit is think about some trilogies that you like, some of your favorite trilogies, and while you're thinking about that, Nick, I want you to say your beginning thoughts of The World's End.
So The World's End was the Cornetto Trilogy movie that I knew nothing about. Hot Fuzz, I'd heard a lot. Um, oh my god, the other one,
Shaun of the Dead?
Shaun of the Dead, obviously gets talked about the most in like horror. Um, but as far as in the World's End, I knew nothing about it, and I was quite perplexed in the first 30 minutes of this because it just felt like a comedy. And I was quite confused why it was labeled as sci-fi. And I was happily my confusion was happily answered. And yeah, no, I think that took a turn for me. That was like,
Mhm,
oh, this movie's not what I thought it was, and for the better.
Mm.
mhm,
I will say I weirdly knew, and I think it's maybe just because I, like, looked at, like, the blurb on Google or something. I weirdly knew, like, the only thing I knew was, group of friends goes on a pub crawl, and it actually said, and they found out, spoiler, that their town got taken over by aliens. Like, that
mhm,
there was an extraterrestrial threat in the town. I wish
Mm,
I didn't know that, dude. I
mm.
wish I had
yeah,
known that.
It was
Yeah.
a fun experience not knowing.
Yeah. 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 No, like, then I was kind of like, well, we'll get into it, but then I was like, "Wait a second, extraterrestrials are just kinda robots," and then I'm like, "Well, not quite," you know?
yeah,
It's
and they
kinda
even make fun
interesting.
of that in the movie a little bit. Uh, so I wanna ask you guys before we kind of talk about the movie more in detail, because I said about trilogies, what
Mhm.
are some of your guys' favorite trilogies? Or you could word it as I could word it as what is either one of your favorites or what you think is some of the best trilogies.
I'll say off rip for me, I love Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. Now, I have to be let me center in on the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unfortunately,
Mhm.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was terrible, overall, and then somehow I'm like, well, like, I won't get into this here, but, like, I was Dial of Destiny was maybe one of the most disappointing movie experiences, maybe of my entire life.
Mhm.
Like, honestly, because,
Yeah.
sorry, I really love, that director, oh, geez, Ford versus Ferrari and, um oh god. Okay, sorry, this is gonna yeah, sorry. Someone can pull it up for me, please, but, he's, um God, what's his name?
It is James
Yes,
Mangold.
James Mangold. He also directed Logan,
Yep,
the X-Men movie.
Logan's
Um,
great.
Logan's great. So 2 great movies, and so I
Mhm.
was really excited for his take on Indiana Jones. It really sucked. That is my answer, though. What about you, Nick?
Definitely I'd say very parallel to what everything you just said, the Pirates of the Caribbean original trilogy,
Mhm.
is is what I would say is
'Cause
I was probably my favorite growing up, and then I have to be honest, I'm a big Star Wars
That's what I was
s
gonna say.
Star Wars prequel trilogy. I mean, both. I mean,
Whoa,
let's talk
both, yeah.
if we're talking greatest, like, sagas, I mean, right, the original trilogy is up there, no question, but
Mhm.
I prefer the prequel trilogy to the original.
It's really funny, yes, I would say you wait a second, sorry, you said you prefer the prequel
I prefer the prequel trilogy. Mhm.
to the original trilogy?
Yes.
Okay, let's just table that, I guess.
Yeah, I was
Let's
gonna
just
say
table
that
that.
it was like, that's a
Let's just
crazy thing to
let's
say.
just table that. Jesus. Okay, well, again, not to Star Wars nerd out, they're good. They're good, and they got a lot of hate at the time that was probably undeserved considering
Undeserved hate at the time. I
how
think they're just wildly different than the originals, and I think there's more intricate depth in those 3 movies than the episode 4, 5, and 6.
somebody said something kinda interesting, like, okay, so 1999, um, like Phantom Menace comes out and, kind of, like, vaguely, like, I believe Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005, and then, like, within 15 years of that trilogy ending,
Mhm.
basically opinions had completely flipped, and
Yeah.
people were like, they were actually really good. Like, by
Yeah.
2020, people were like, they were really good. Um, I and then postulating question, are people gonna say that about the sequel trilogy?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
No.
I don't see it now, y'all, I don't see it now, but
Mhm.
who knows, right? Who knows?
Mm,
Who
Mhm.
knows?
so
Maybe
I'll
we'll
say for that
yeah.
to, like, kind of do a different, set of movies and a little bit more horror related, the X
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pearl Maxine trilogy, I
Oh,
think is
yes,
a
dude.
very good trilogy.
Mhm.
Now, Bill, your answer is the Indiana Jones trilogy. So I want you
Yes.
those 3 movies that you're thinking of from that trilogy, those
Mhm.
original 3, I want you to say your feelings very brief of each
Sure.
one in terms of, like, quality, not quality, like, is it good? You could do it either critically or, like, personal feelings.
This is very interesting. Yeah, I'll keep this brief. There's a great graph that is maybe talking about our concept with this, where it's like what movie in the trilogy is generally the best, right?
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
actually, the weirdest thing about Indiana Jones is that it follows a very strange path, at least for me, in that the first one is really good. The second one is far the weakest of the three. And then the
Mhm.
final one, The Last Crusade, is the best one.
Mhm. And for those of
Um,
you who haven't seen Indiana Jones, could you just say, like, the names of the first 2?
sorry.
Just I don't know how many fans might not have seen Indiana Jones, just,
No, you're good. I would say so in order from worst to best, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, um, Raiders of the Lost Ark, it got retroactively renamed to Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark,
yeah.
and then the final one, um, Indiana Jones, the Last Crusade.
Mhm.
And then don't even worry about the other 2 team
Yeah.
after that, because it's diminishing returns by a really big deal. Um,
Don't even
Yeah.
worry
What
about it.
about you
yeah.
next? So you said Pirates of the Caribbean. We'll do that one.
I wanna
Your
hear
thoughts are
this,
critically. What do you think of
because
the story?
This is a hard question, because I've actually never considered it. I I mean, I think in a trilogy, usually the second one, the sequel, is the weaker of the 3. That doesn't
Mhm.
apply necessarily for the Pearl trilogy, but um I don't know, it's so tough. But I think I think it would go. Are we talking quality of movie generally
It is up to you. I'll
my
let you do
preference?
your personal favorites, but you could say,
Okay.
like, critically, this one's not as well received, but I think it's the best. Like, you could do whichever.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't honestly know the splits between the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, if I'm being honest, because it's one of those, like, I don't have to look into them very much because of how much they were part of my childhood,
Yeah.
um, but preference-wise, I definitely love, I mean, I love the first one the most, um, but the third one is also very good. The second one is the weakest because of the all the introductions and the too much, kind of prologue, and then obviously it's a, cliffhanger ending, and so that doesn't sound great, and there's all that confusing stuff that goes on with Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner and Jack Sparrow, and you're like, "What is going on? Why is this a love triangle? Is that what's happening?" Like, trying to make
Mhm.
sense of that, and it just didn't seem like it was real, so that would be my answer.
Okay. And then we brought up Star Wars, like, critically, of course, Episode 4, there's not much to say, it's excellent. Episode 5, a lot of people refer to it as the best in the whole series.
Yep.
And then
it is,
I
by
also
the
would
way.
agree with that. I
I think
agree with
It
Return
that.
of the
is.
Jedi is, but it's all good, it's all good.
What, really? Oh,
Really?
Nick, you have some
Yes.
hot
Yeah,
takes, dude.
no, it's
Yeah.
not,
God,
that's not
yeah.
that
Return
I
of the
think
J
is, like, the second take, yeah, it's the second take, I'd say. A hot
wait,
take would be like, I think The Phantom Menace is the best movie, of all the
wait, wait,
9
wait,
movies.
wait, 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 wait. So sorry, you're saying that Return of the Jedi is the best Star Wars movie?
I don't know, yeah, well, I
Okay,
think honestly,
okay,
personally, I like Revenge of the Sith the most.
I
okay.
would
Episode
agree
3.
with that, and, like,
That'd be
Yeah,
my
personal
second
favorite.
favorite movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think Return of the Jedi is, is close. I mean, I think its fault, its flaw is that, like, "Hey, what if we do episode 5 again?"
Yeah, but, like,
Right.
worse and sorry, I remember even as, like, a little kid, my ass
Mhm.
was I thought I had, like, some, like, esoteric, like, cool opinion on it where I was like, "The 4th one is good, but the 5th one" or or like, "The 1st one is good, the 2nd one's the best, and the 3rd one is not as good."
Yeah.
But then I found out that that's, like, the opinion, like, most people hold, about,
Yeah,
like, the
and that's
original
kind of what I was
trilogy,
gonna say. Episode 6, a lot of people see as the weakest of the trilogy, of that original
of
trilogy.
that original trilogy.
Uh,
It beats
and then, of
out
course,
yeah, yeah,
well, I
sorry.
said X, Pearl, Maxine, X, great. Pearl, people see it as better than X. I kind of like
Mhm.
X the tiniest little
Oh,
bit more than
okay,
Mhm.
Pearl.
it's
Still
close.
love Pearl, and then Maxine as the weakest. I could
Mhm.
also pull out Saw. Saw,
Yeah, 1, 2, and
excellent.
3.
People love Saw. Saw
Mhm.
2, not as good.
Mhm.
Critically, not as good, but still very well received. And then the third one, the weakest of that. So now I'm gonna wrap this all the way back around to what we're talking about today, The World's End, the final of the uh of the trilogy.
Mhm.
Would you guys would not don't need big answers. This could be just yes or no. We won't do any explanations just yet. Would you say The World's End is the weakest of the Cornetto trilogy? I'll start with Nick. Simple yes or no.
No. No.
Bill, what about you?
Sorry, I'm excited to discuss this movie because I'll have a better answer, but right now I'm gonna say no as well.
Okay, so then can I ask if your order is Shaun of the Dead weakest, World's End, Hot Fuzz, or somewhere these two switched?
What I'll say to you is that for me, showing my hand a little early is that
Mhm,
I still think Hot Fuzz is the best of the 3, but
mhm,
it is a shootout between
mhm.
the other 2 for the thing. Like, I'm thinking yeah, it's a shootout. And I'm excited. I was excited, like, finishing the movie. I'm like, I don't know. I expected it to be weaker, but I don't think it
Mhm.
was. I don't think it was.
What
Anyway.
about you, Nick?
Oh, you're gonna
I
drop a
don't
bomb? Are you gonna drop a bomb?
don't
Like,
know, I don't know. I don't know because I think, like, through this, I realized I don't like British comedies.
wow.
Like, I and that's not and I can't say that's yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. I don't think I think they might be one of my least favorite genres, so it's tough for me
You're not alone, by the
to
way,
pull
you
strings here.
know?
I think I very much liked Shaun of the Dead, but it seemed I don't know. I don't know. I think the mere plot twist that I didn't know about in The World's End,
Mhm,
like, is what won it for me.
mhm.
Whereas I think Hoffa's probably is a objectively better movie, but also I think The World's End says a lot more than
Yeah.
the other 2 movies, and I was like, "Oh, I think there might be some more depth in The World's End than I originally thought there would be."
Mhm. So don't we're gonna talk about that. I'm
Okay.
still
Okay.
big picture thing that we're gonna be going into.
Big picture, sorry, big
Alright.
picture.
No, 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 you're good, because I wanna, like, tie this all up with why I'm
Well
going on this, like, little tangent here.
wait a minute. Ryan, what about you?
I
Where is
think
your
that
ranking?
my order probably would be Hot Fuzz, World's End, Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, I think we're all sorry if I'm misremembering, I think we're all kind of thinking that maybe.
Or somewhere with something and
Yeah,
maybe a little
Yeah,
switch somewhere within there.
yeah.
So,
okay.
the reason I ask this is because now you could do simple yes or no again with this one.
Mhm.
Bill, you knew Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead very well, I don't wanna say very well, but you knew of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, but
Beforehand.
not really The World's End, right?
Right. I had seen those 2 a long time ago, but I had not seen The World's End until I remember it coming out, but I had not seen it until this most recent time.
Mhm.
Right.
And then Nick, for you, is that the same thing,
Yeah,
that you kind of knew of Shaun of the Dead and
yep,
Hot Fuzz, but not really The World's End?
yes.
So, isn't it interesting how The World's End kind of got, like, pushed aside a little bit? That not like, it not as I don't wanna say not as well received because it's an award-winning movie. It won awards.
Mm.
to add on to this, dude,
Mm,
I like what you're getting at. I like what you're getting
mm,
at, and I don't know if you have, like, some, like, bomb to drop. To be clear, when I heard about the Cornetto Trilogy, I was like, "Oh, yeah, Shaun of the Dead? Cool. Oh, yeah, like, Hot Fuzz? Cool." And then I was like, "What is this 3rd movie?"
Yeah,
mhm.
same,
Like,
same.
Yeah.
it was really like that level of fall off. So is there some secret reason, or or are you just
Well, no,
postulating?
I wanna ask a different question based on all of those things, right? Because now
Yeah.
we've watched the entire Cornetto trilogy.
Mhm,
Would you say that the whole entire Cornetto trilogy, and Nick, this might be a little bit different for you since you said you're not a big fan of British comedies,
mhm.
but would you say that quality-wise between all 3 of the movies, that this would make this one of the better trilogies ever made?
Like, generally?
Generally, yeah. Of any series, any trilogy that you could think of, your favorites, there's so many that we didn't even talk about, like the, Dark Knight trilogy, we didn't bring that
Oh,
up, you
shoot.
know?
That
We
probably
didn't
should have been discussed,
well, no,
yeah.
that's fine, I think it's interesting that we brought up different ones, right?
Mhm,
Because if we just do the same one that everyone talks about, you have Friday the 13th, you have the original trilogy for that, you have
mm,
Halloween, you have,
mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Would you say that quality-wise, and also you could even say personal enjoyment, that this is one of the better trilogies that you've watched?
I don't know, have y'all ever seen, the Before trilogy?
Before what?
The
Sorry, I'm
the
not sure.
The
Before
Like,
trilogy, my
oh,
bad.
hey, let me answer your
Before
question for
what?
you. Okay. Uh,
the sunrise,
Yeah,
sunset, and midnight one with,
Before
Ethan Hawke.
sunrise, before sunset, and before midnight.
Mhm.
what are you guys talking about?
Oh my gosh,
I
Bill,
apparently have
Bill,
not seen
Bill,
this.
Bill, Bill, next date
E
night,
Ethan Hawke?
you gotta
Yeah.
find Before
Okay.
Sunrise.
Before Sunrise. Is that the first one?
Yes,
I'm
it's the
assuming?
first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, quick
Well,
thing before wow, this is totally tangential, but before it's a trilogy shot in real time. So, one movie was in 1995, and then they shot the next movie in 2005, and then they shot the next movie in 2015 with the same
whoa.
actors in the same plot. Well, the same,
Mm.
it's focusing on the same 2 people. So you watch these 3 actors within 3 movies age 30 years.
Okay, so this is some, like, Boyhood
Yeah,
type.
similar
Okay,
to
kind of.
Boyhood.
So a little
Um, it's
Boyhood-esque. Okay.
it's also a very uniquely written movie in the sense of you're watching 2 people talk.
Mhm. Also, same director as Boyhood.
Oh, and the same
Same
director.
Oh my god, okay, so
Like
he loves this shit, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, like,
yeah.
okay, because that's literally I'm like, that's a Boyhood-ass concept, but okay, you're saying
And
that
on top
it's
of that, director of course, one of the greatest films, School of Rock.
Hell
no
yeah.
way.
Mhm.
Wait, wait, School of Rock was wait, wasn't that, wait a minute. Wasn't
School
School of
Rock, Jack Black.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
I know that, but wait a second, that was directed by Edgar Wright, right? School of Rock was not directed by Edgar Wright?
No, it's, directed by Richard,
Richard
Linklater or
Linklater.
yeah.
Oh my god, that is a Richard Linklater film. You know what I'm thinking about? For some reason, Scott Pilgrim and School of Rock are weirdly combined in my head. I don't know why. Like, they're
Oh,
animated
okay.
nature, maybe, or something, like, or vaguely having to do with kids. Sorry. Anyway,
No,
okay,
you're
I don't
good.
know. You
Great
talk.
trilogy, but this is, this a trilogy, like, the Cornetto trilogy. Would you
Mhm.
say it's up there for one of the best trilogies that you've watched?
I don't know, it's the most solid. Like, as far as when it comes to, like, entries, to
Mm,
me, they all kinda average the same rating. Is that a hot take?
Interesting.
it's
Okay,
really
so
interesting.
you're saying, like, theoretically, not that this would be, like, your actual rating, but, like,
Mhm.
you'd rate one, like, 6, 7, and 8, and then, like, they average out to all be, like, 7s or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yep.
I'm gonna make a general statement that maybe is kinda previewing my entire kinda thought process. Um, there's, like, some movies that you just, like, can go and grab and, like, watch, and you're excited to watch them no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
kinda don't feel that way about any of these. Um, Hot Fuzz gets the closest to, like, something that I would
Yeah.
pop on, but I would sooner pop it on with a group of people, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. That's a
And
Like,
good
these
if
do
movie.
feel very good of, like, watching it with, like, friends, like, this entire trilogy.
there are some movies that I swear to God get improved if you're, like, watching them like, it's, like, all the Hangover films,
Yeah.
most dumb
Yeah.
comedies,
Yeah.
most dumb horror movies, like, like, it's yeah. No, I would say but I would also agree with these, even though the comedy might not land for everyone. Sounds like it really didn't land for you, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, it's deadpan. It's deadpan and it's fast,
Mhm.
and I mean, it sometimes warrants, like, watching it again to, like, pick up on the comedy and pick up on the jokes. But I do think, if you don't like deadpan flat comedy, then it's gonna fall if you don't like deadpan British comedy, you're gonna fall flat because it's dry. It's a really dry humor, um, that you have to have that niche. I think you have to like that. You have to like it. I mean, it's the same reason why yeah, I love the Office US version, but I can't get through the Office the British version, right?
It is tough to sorry, there was, this show called The IT Crowd that you guys may or may not have heard of, and I had, like, some roommates that, like, absolutely love that show, and I liked it, but I was like, they're engaging and enjoying it on a whole different level than I am. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's okay, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? So, um,
Yeah. And for me,
but,
one of my favorite,
mhm.
like, shows that I've ever watched is The Inbetweeners, which is,
Oh,
like,
dude.
peak British comedy,
Yeah.
Mm,
and
okay.
I think it is so incredibly hilarious and funny, but I know for some like, it would not land the same.
Yeah.
The comedy just would not be as funny.
Yeah.
Right. Um God damn. Yeah, no, that's, like, so interesting. Sorry, there is an interesting thing with, like actually, The Office is such an interesting example because it literally is, in a in a perfect, like, universe, like, it is such a direct, like, translation, but
Yeah.
it's just obviously that worked for the, you know British market and, like, it was not like, it just like, they knew that it wouldn't have worked in America as well. They knew,
Mhm.
you know? That's why they took the idea, they just didn't actually make the characters the same or write the same either,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
that didn't always work out because they tried a US version of The Inbetweeners, and it was a failure. It
Oh,
did
okay.
not do well.
oh, it super failed? Dude,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that they did that. So there you go. If
Mhm.
that's any kinda I'm not
Yeah,
great
and
on TV though with stuff like that, but, yeah. You guys wanna kinda get into the plot? Kinda
Yeah.
yeah.
kinda get into the thing?
Yeah,
You
let's
know?
talk about it. And I asked the question of, like, how you think of it as other trilogies because I think it's great. I think that The World's End is a very good movie. It's interesting how it's not as talked about, it's kind of the unknown where out of all of them, I think it has the best character motivations, it's the best character analysis of all of the entire trilogy, I think. I think it's the weakest comedically of the 3, and I
Dude,
think that might be the issue of it.
this movie's
Mm,
really not funny. This movie's really
yeah.
not
The
funny.
whole second half is
It's
like, "Oh,
really
this
not
is
funny.
kind of a human drama."
Yeah.
Which is okay, it's like, there's, like, some jokes mixed in, but, like, it is, like, largely, like, the humor is either not there or, like, not working as well, I would say. But yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so let's get started talking about it. I mean,
Okay.
I think and this is of course, we already had the spoiler earlier on, so your spoiler alert warning was already there, but
Mhm.
in case, I mean, I definitely would recommend this. I'm not sure about you guys. I think you should watch it. It's very strong, great acting in it. There's actors and actresses you're gonna see in it, it's like, "What are they doing in this movie?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if you're anything like me, though, although you really enjoyed the movie, you really struggled throughout almost the entire movie to get the names of characters right. I am going to I watched this with Kristen, thank God I did. I was like, "Which one is this person?" So, I'm actually going to while we're kinda just talking about this, I'm gonna pull up a guide for myself so that
Mm.
I know which person I'm talking about. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so let's
Okay.
kind of talk about it in terms of, like, our characters, we said how it's about a pub crawl, and I think this probably of the trilogy, Simon Pegg's character as Gary King, I think this is the most interesting character, that he's acted within the trilogy, compared to Hot Fuzz and to, Shaun of the Dead. He plays an alcoholic that basically is trying to live in the past and is trying to do this pub crawl that they failed, back when they were kids.
Yeah, definitely living in the past. Definitely, he is reminiscing. He's kind of going through what a lot of people go through when they kind of grieve the past, and
Mhm.
in order to grieve the past, they just don't let go, and they don't grieve, and they try to recreate the same things that they did with their pals, um, which is a little more heartfelt. It's a bit more of a real scenario, kind of a one of those like buddy comedy route, which obviously Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead are, but it's a bit more real. I think, to my opinion, uh, it's like less it's less fictional,
Mhm.
right? And more
Mhm.
like, okay, this is a very real thing that happens.
It's, like, interesting because, I agree. I agree with that statement. There's something, like, weird, like, about it kinda all, and I think it's, like, the larger, message of this movie maybe, is that, like, everybody does this, like, where it's, like, everybody, like, romanticizes the past. No, the past wasn't as good as you remember it, like, everybody you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
Everybody
Mhm.
longs for a romanticized past that wasn't reality. You just
Yeah.
remembered it as such, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really easy to do that. It's actually everybody's very emotionally mature in this movie, in that vein, except for, Simon Pegg's character.
Mhm.
Although there is slips, from the other characters at various times. Where
Yeah.
they kind of you can sense it. I'm specifically thinking of Eddie Marsan's character, Peter, and
Mhm.
his whole bullying situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Very interesting. That was a very interesting point in the movie. But, yeah, I guess to kinda start, like, we kind of, this whole beginning part almost felt to me like, when they set up, like, a Mission Impossible movie or, like,
Mm.
a height like an Ocean's 11 or 12 type deal when it's like you gotta get the crew together first, you know? Um,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Crew gathering.
and the basic, takeaway that I got from this is that everybody's doing relatively well, except for Simon Pegg. There's
Yeah.
different levels of
Yep.
success, but yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I like that about this movie because we start the movie with, Simon Pegg's character, Gary King, kind of talking about them as, like, children and all of this, like, stuff, how he is, like, the
Yeah.
king, they all follow him, they all do this stuff,
Right.
but they've all moved on. They don't think
You
about
know
that anymore, and I
Yeah.
love when they return how you start to get, like, those little, like, reality checks between all of the characters, and we see the
Mhm.
cracks within the childhood that stuff that Gary didn't bring up. Very quickly talks about the bullying, not that much, but then we
Mhm.
see that in real time as soon as he comes back to the town. We see
Mhm.
how the one friend is kind of into, to Martin Freeman's character, the O Man, his sister. We see that in real time. It's not really talked about in the flashback.
Yeah.
It's I think that's why it becomes clever writing because it doesn't give away everything. It kind of shows you little snippets of it, and then once they're back, then this is where we're gonna really get to dive into these emotions.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, there's something that I know, like, came up for me relatively, I'm interesting. This is kinda, like, coming up a lot that, like okay. real life for a second, real life for a second. I don't wanna speak for us all, I don't wanna out us all, I have a important, high school reunion, thing coming up,
Oh, 10
and,
years
Oh.
probably, right?
10 years. Wow.
Mm.
Mhm.
Thank
Well,
you for that. No, it's
sorry,
okay,
it's
it's
a
okay, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, that's, like, the first one that matters, right?
yeah.
Um, and the kind of crazy thing that I'm thinking about it, is that, like, dang, like, except for a select few people, I don't really think about people a lot from high school anymore. In fact, like, I really have no idea, like, how some people are doing. In like a kind of like, whoa, like, time flies very quick way. That's why I find this to be kinda interesting, but perhaps kinda truthful, that when he's doing this whole, like, assembling thing, it's like people saw each other here and there throughout their 20s, but then it's like none of them have seen Peter in a long time. Or
Yes.
sorry, Simon Pegg's character, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yes.
I kept
Yeah.
calling him the king. I kept calling him the king. Um, like, it's a surprise. Everybody's surprised to see him. They're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god," you know? You know, perhaps that's pretty real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it is pretty real. I mean, I can use a real life setting. There are 4 people from high school who were invited to my wedding. One of them is coming. One of them I talked to last night, who is regretfully not coming, but it is that, like, man, in high school, you think there's such a importance and, what's the word? Not invincibility, but, like, yeah, I guess invincibility of
Per
the friends that you
per
have, of, like, the
permeance,
friend.
permeance.
Thank you,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
permeance
yeah.
of the
Sure.
Mhm.
friend group that you've got. Thank you, Bill.
No, you're good.
Um, and it's not, and I think it's almost in a similar way, that, like, the not to bring up the pandemic, but the pandemic, like, taught me how, like, the fragility of things.
Mhm,
Mhm.
I think
mhm.
but it's a very real fragility that happens with high school friends.
It like, it's one of those things, though, I have to, like, admit to myself, like, with, like, the anniversary coming up, like, I'm like, "Okay," like, I came from, like, a relatively small graduating class, like, I may be interested in seeing, like, 20% of that
Mhm.
graduating class, though. The others, like, can kind of, like, I don't not wanna see them, but I'm like, I'm just not, like, terribly, like, interested in, like, what they're doing, and, like, I think that is where we are finding Gary at the beginning of the thing. Nobody was seeking him out, you know? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, and then that's what, like, brought me in. I have to say, like, it was like, "Oh, Gary hasn't moved on."
Right.
Yeah.
Gary has not moved on, everybody has, and, like, it was interesting, and then it was sad. It was almost like this, like, patheticism, like, this, like, I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's a word, but, like, I almost saw him as pathetic because all of his other friends were, like, looking at him in that same way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Simon Pegg is pretty pathetic throughout this movie. It almost
Yeah.
makes it a little hard to
Yeah.
watch in that
Yes.
way. Yes.
Biggest complaint.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like his character arc is way too much. Like, you almost don't like it's like he, like, sees things, like, from the past, and you almost wanna be like, "Alright, chill." You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's
Like, it
Mm.
wasn't that good, man. Like, it wasn't that good. Like, I'm so sorry if you're reminiscing about, like, your I think this is in the culture now, like, if you're reminiscing that much about your high school days, you're kinda just a loser. You're kinda just a loser. Like, I'm sorry, you
But I
know?
think that's the point. I think
Yeah.
that's the
yeah,
point because we can't
yeah,
have the story have that, like, emotional buildup if he isn't like that. And
yeah.
yeah, it takes that long, and then by the end, he's still the same person. He doesn't change really, you
Right.
know? He
Right.
apologizes for what he's done to, like, at least to his best friend, to Andy.
Right, to
Other
Andy.
than that, he's basically the same.
I will
R
say to
right.
yeah, to kinda yeah, wait a second, he Seinfelded, he didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
He didn't get, yeah, there's no moral lesson at the end for him.
Yeah,
That's
not
kinda
usually
sad.
the quality of an amazing movie.
Right, right, yeah. It kinda works though, right?
Yeah.
Although he didn't get oh, that's kinda well, I mean, we'll talk about the ending. Like, we'll talk about the true ending, but maybe he didn't need to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't need to change considering everything. Um
Yeah. But, I
Mm.
mean, I bet we could all name people that we know that, like, still live in the past like that, you know? It's
Yeah,
been years since we've all been in high
Yeah.
school. You know, we probably
And this
follow
guy
people
named
on
Bill.
Facebook or Instagram, stuff like that, that we're like, "Oh god, like, brother, please grow up." Like
no, you see, sorry, I was gonna tell I'm sorry, it's so telling because it's also like, oh, yeah, I feel like, like, I have, like, a lot more positive, like, memories and, like, with, like, the people from, like, college, and then I'm like, "Look who I'm doing this fucking podcast," like, it's like I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you guys would agree," like, I'm like but, yeah,
Uh,
the high school feels like a really long time away now, and I don't know if that's, like, scarier it's gonna get scarier, but, yeah, kind of interesting. Perhaps our own melancholy on the movie, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting that he reverts back to, just kind of his old ways in the end, and I think that every movie up to that point that we had in the trilogy has, like, that, "I'm gonna change," like in Shaun of the Dead, he changes and he's able to
Yeah.
be with, Liz, and
Oh.
then in, Hot
Yeah,
Fuzz,
it
he's
does.
able to have that change and be able to be in that small town and, like, end up loving it. I like
Mhm.
how this movie switches it up, how, like, it is kind of the point of it, but how he always thinks about the past, and then kind of at the end of it, he's apologized for what he's done, but he still lives in the past. He's no longer, like, regretful of it.
Mm.
It's interesting because I feel like, like, he's okay, okay, with this hypothesis, why is he getting everyone together again? To literally relive the past or to apologize to Andy, or is it just, like, purely selfish reasons? Or does he feel like if he completes this, that somehow he can close a chapter on his life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think we could look at it as is he able to? Did he get that drink at the world's end?
Mm.
Was he able to complete the cycle?
maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, to kind of disorderly talk about this movie, um, the movie almost kinda seems like it's going to end before it really gets going,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, until
it
the whole like,
does.
everybody's ready to go home,
Yeah,
everybody's
he
ready
gets the
to and
world's end, at the end. It's like, "Oh, okay. They're
oh,
there."
well, sorry, I'm talking about,
Earlier
uh
when the argument happens?
yes, when they get into an
Oh,
argument, I think on, like, spot 4 or 5, and they're like,
yep.
"Cool, we're gonna, like this was, like, an awkward kinda reunion, and, like, we're just gonna go." Like, you know what I'm like,
Mm.
it's kinda like one of those things. Um, then it is sort of this external threat, question mark, that kinda
Mm.
brings them together, you know?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the fucking plot twist of the century for me, because
Mhm.
you're right, like, in a half hour I think it's like a half hour, 40 minutes into the movie that happens, and it's like and I hit the point where I was like, "I really don't think I like this movie. I don't think I like it," you know? And then the bathroom scene happens after the argument, and I'm like, "What the fuck just happened?
Mhm.
What did I just see? What but, blue paint, blue stuff coming out of people's neck, what heads popping off." Like, it was, like, so bonkers that suddenly I was like, "Oh, shit, what is happening?" I was really roped back in.
I would say not like I think I've mentioned this movie so many times on the podcast before, but the Stepford Wives,
Mhm.
specifically not the 2000s one that's really bad, the
Mhm.
70s one, this scene where it's like you suddenly become aware that like somebody is not what they appear to be and like like they have this like this whole thing. I don't think that the action gets much better in this movie, than this whole bathroom fight scene, this
Oh, yeah.
combined bathroom fight scene. Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's really good, it's really well choreographed. It's kind of an action-heavy movie, though,
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
you guys say? But they
Yeah.
all kind of are. The Cornetto Trilogy kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, this, is in between, between, like, Hot Fuzz and The World's End is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is full action in terms of when
Yes.
release dates. So, Hot Fuzz
Which
came out
Oh.
2007, Scott
Oh.
Pilgrim came out 2010, The World's End
okay.
came out 2013.
Oh, I see. I see
You're
what you're saying.
you're talking about Edgar Wright.
Mhm.
Okay, Edgar Wright. Sorry, I
Mhm.
was like
Yeah.
sorry, I was like,
Sorry,
I'm
I
still
should have
tripping out.
specified.
Sorry, I'm still tripping out because of School of Rock, that's a Rich Linklater film. Jesus, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
But you could see, like, between Hot Fuzz fight choreography to then, Scott Pilgrim fight choreography to The World's End, you could just see, like, him getting better and better and better each time.
Dude, you're connecting something together that I never really thought about before. You also added Baby Driver to this conversation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Dude, Edgar Wright really loves action in his
Or,
movies.
his most recent movie, which I haven't seen yet, the
Running
remake of
Man?
The Running Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, when I heard they made a remake of The Running Man, my jaw, like like, unhinged to the floor. I'm like,
Mhm.
"That fucking Arnold movie from the '80s?" I was like, "Dude, that's like a bad Arnold movie." And then, like, I was shocked. I'm sure it was better than that movie, but it was, we'll see. Did you see it, Nick?
No, I'm looking at the reviews for it. It was alright. Still
That
Yeah.
3.5.
you
But
see, yeah.
it's an
3.5 out of
action
10.
it's an action movie,
I mean, 5.
like.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can tell there is action in all of his films. I think Scott Pilgrim really I think Scott Pilgrim I don't wanna say revolutionized because I don't think a lot of films can follow Scott Pilgrim in Scott Pilgrim's footsteps, but it definitely showed how there can be action and comedy at the same time. It's just, like, perfect balance.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that could be well made, not like a crappy buddy cop movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pilgrim could have been really bad, you know, because it's adapted
Oh,
from
it could've, yeah.
yeah, like, it's
It's
like
a
an
comic.
right, right, it's an adaptation of a comic and, like, yeah, it could have been really like, I think there could have been missteps. I think it's a great adaptation, but it's interesting to place that in his filmography. I never thought about it like that before. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
That's what I
Um,
was when I was watching that first, like, big fight scene in the bathroom, I was like, "This is really well choreographed."
yeah.
Yeah. They capture the absurdity really well. And like, there were times where, like, I feel like in, like, a zombie movie or whatever, like Shaun of the Dead, where, like, oh, let's use a funny instrument to, have it be the weapon, and that gets, like, focused on, whereas I realized, like, it almost was in the bathroom scene, it was like people were tearing apart life-sized Barbies and
Mhm.
hitting out other Barbies with it. Right, and just Barbies because, like, they're dolls, like, it was almost just like, I was kinda, like, reminiscent of, like, the Santa Claus 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay, dude. First of all, crazy reference, crazy
Yep.
reference. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
big
give it
pull,
to
yeah.
you. We'll give it
Mhm.
to you. Yes, play is good. Play is good. But friggin' okay, that is maybe one complaint. This is like a nerdy complaint to have. Do they feel a little too easy to defeat at times? Like the alien, the androids as they were. They feel
I
like
mean,
a
we
little
never saw or were told that they're great fighters.
Mm,
true, but, like, I just feel like there's always, like maybe I'm just troped up on Hollywood, but that it's like, oh, it's like for things that are mechanical inherently, you have to, like, outsmart it because you're not gonna be able to physically beat it, you know? I feel like
Mhm.
that's, like, a real, like,
mm,
trope in most, just Hollywood franchises,
mhm.
but
Yeah.
I would say this like they can easily the however many of them, I believe there's 6 total, can like take down like a lot of them.
Mhm.
They could theoretically like take down several each. In fact, there's that scene later where they're at the pub and that almost happens. I believe there's less of them at that point and they go kind of crazy. Um that's not to say it's not satisfying though. It's like, okay, like, no, like, these, host bodies or whatever are very, disposable, you know? So, yeah, no big loss.
Yeah. And then I think something we got to bring up though is this like third act with the computer
Mhm.
AI
Yes.
system, which felt
Voiced
like
by, Bill Nye what's his name? Bill
I
Nye?
Bill
Nye?
Nye.
Bill
Nye?
Yeah.
Nye,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
really confusing. Um, yeah, this I didn't love this. It feels weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird way
It
to
I
felt
end the
like
agree.
movie.
it
It's a
felt
weird way
like
to end
too
the movie.
much, way too much like, oh, the human race. Like this has turned into like a saving the world movie. Like it just was this was not a disaster movie. It almost felt like it creeps into the Shaun of the Dead, right? Where it's like, oh, time to
Yes.
make things really bad or something like really just absurdly
Yeah, the stakes are
worse.
insane. The stakes are
Yeah.
insane, yeah. Um,
I think it's interesting that I think the issue with this one compared to the other ones is it's too on the nose. Like,
Yes.
it's a little bit more I don't wanna say more obscure than, Shaun of the Dead, like, we know what it's about, what it's trying to be, but it doesn't, like, just go out and be like, "I am the character that I am going to say what is wrong with everybody."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, "Oh, we need this character to go on a, a little massive rant." Uh
Mhm.
and do their monologue about this. Where this one has like, "Oh, we're gonna monologue for a little bit for a few characters."
Yeah, monologue. We're gonna tell you the backstory because we have to fill it in. And then also the computer. The computer's gonna tell you its whole plans, cause that's what bad guys do.
Monologue, yeah, you get a monologue. It's kinda crazy.
Mhm.
I I don't know, like, to kinda, like, even go, like, past that. I will okay. So, I think it was kinda funny that they went so big so quick, and then it's like, "Oh, yeah, but, like, this is even bigger." Like, it almost becomes like a satire what happens, at the
Mhm.
end where there's, like, a worldwide blackout because of their actions.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, we're now in, like, a like, apocalyptic, like, thing,
Mhm.
like, where, like, most of the world is, like, devastated. It's, like, Dark Ages technology, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
But, hey, we do get some character arc for Gary. He's now sober.
Yeah.
We do.
He
We
wants
do,
some
he's now
water.
sober. Yeah, he ordered water with his with his friends, and they're sorry, I never, like to, like, think like this, but it's like, I know there's, they keep calling them blanks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's blanks racism, which
Yeah.
and I'm like, I would kinda get it, given that, like, they're indirectly responsible for, like, the current state of the world, you know?
Mhm.
They're like,
Mhm.
their maker is like, I would kinda get it. I would kinda
Mhm.
get it, but, it's weird. It's weird for sure. This
Yeah.
ending's weird. This ending's weird. It's okay.
And he's weird.
Yeah.
They wanna do, like, this kinda whole, like, computer from Wall-E type thing where they're
Mhm.
like, "No, let's not save the human race."
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just
Mhm.
let it go. We'll just let it go.
We'll just let it go and let it be the way it is right now.
It was yeah, I don't know. The whole plot went from I think where this movie worked best was when it was examining the changing dynamics of friendships over time,
Mhm.
particularly when they were in the sports field house. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Um, and, why that reason I remember so strongly is that that's where we discover where Nick Frost's character, why he's sober.
Oh, yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa, that's like kinda freaking heavy," and, like, yeah, like, they're talking about stuff that occurred after high school, but before the current time, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Damn, that is kinda interesting," because, like, that vaguely stuff when the whole crash and everything happened is, like, our current life right now, So, knock
Mhm.
on wood, fellas, by the way, Um, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I guess we'll start to wrap things up.
for
Our
sure.
one sentence review of The World's End. So I'll give you guys a few moments to think about that. Uh, while you guys do, um, I want to say that thank you everyone for listening. The going between episodes once you guys listen to Hot Fuzz to this one, it's been about 2.5 months between recordings. Uh,
Wow, wow.
a lot going on between all of us, but
Um,
at the end of the day, we always come back to you know wanting to record and to do this. Life gets in the way sometimes. Uh,
That is really funny. I did not realize so much time had passed, but
yeah.
sorry, yeah, yeah. Um, wow, makes you think, you know?
Mhm. But don't worry, you may think that we were gone, but we will not be gone.
Good one. Good one.
Wow, that's
That's good.
good, that's
That's good,
good.
Rye.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Yeah, or
Wait
should
wait
I
a second,
say
wait a
we will
second.
not be gone, girl.
Oh, okay, okay, no, that's good, that's good. Let's try this one on for size. You thought you got rid of us? Well, think again. How about that? How about that one?
Okay.
It's you that
Mhm.
got bamboozled.
Yeah.
I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot.
Okay.
Mhm.
You might think that this is this, I don't know. This is you
This is
might
really
think
working, this is
that
really working, by
Oh,
the way,
I got one. Hold on, I
yeah,
got
okay,
one.
go ahead, go ahead.
You might think that this is the end.
shit. That's what I was.
This is the world's end.
You
This is just the world's end.
you
There
might
we go.
think you
That's my
might
one
Mhm.
sentence revealed.
you might
This
think
is
I'm
the end.
crazy. You might think I'm crazy.
Can my
Um,
cheeky letterbox
uh,
review be
Yeah,
like um you might be something like took a wrong turn heading to Land's End, the store, ended up at the world's end with a
the
drunken
pub.
Simon Pegg and a really angry
wha
computer.
Mhm.
whoa.
Cheers.
That's good.
Okay, this is one of my most cohesive, cheeky reviews. That was a good one, Nick. That was a good one, by the
That's a good
way.
Thanks.
one.
Thank you.
Um, and yes, I did write it down. Well, it's not as funny as its predecessors. It makes up for it in its heart. The world's end is not the end of the world.
All right.
I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
it.
the
Yeah.
world's not the end of the
Solid.
world.
Not the end of the
Solid.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. That's pretty
All
good.
right.
That's
pretty
pretty
With
good.
good.
that being said, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, of course, Bill and Nick for being here doing this. You may ask what our next episode is going to be on. Hell if I know. You'll find out when we find out.
I guess so, I guess
Hell if
so.
we know.
Yeah, you know what? You guys
I've got
thought
ideas, but you know,
Mhm.
something we gotta discuss. Try to figure out. Um, with that being said, I don't even have one because I feel like we did all of our bits right even before the
Yeah.
uh it
Uh,
being said.
I
uh,
maybe we can end on a wholesome note.
oh,
How can we do that?
wholesome
Yeah,
note.
how do we do that? How do we do that?
And with that being said, if you're eating Dove and it tastes like soap, you're eating the wrong Dove.
Wow, that is beautiful and very wholesome. And, you know
Mhm.
what? To all our terrestrial listeners, good night and good luck. Unless you're listening to this in the daytime, in which,
Yeah.
stay awake.
Also thank you for listening.
And thank
Yeah.
you for listening.
Thank you for staying
Thank
with
you for
us.
listening.
Yeah, we always come back, right?
Yeah, we
Like
do.
Mm.
like a disease or a
Like
Oh,
like
oh, wait a minute, wait, sorry, I mean like a
uh,
parasite, like, wait a minute.
oh,
No, I was kidding, no, I'm just
like a hive mind.
like
uh,
a
like
like an alien hive mind.
like like cinema.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, okay,
Uh.
okay, shit,
Mhm.
okay, okay,
Mhm.
alright.
We always come back to support you.
That's right,
yeah.
mm,
Hell yeah.
that's
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
See ya.